What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JJ and I'm back on another video. How y'all doing? I'm doing good. Let me switch over here. Alright, y'all. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JJ and I'm back on another video. So y'all, how y'all doing? I'm doing good. But anyways, y'all, as I was saying, that I haven't did a video in 4 days. I know y'all haven't did a video. I haven't did a video in 4 days, but I'm back now, y'all. So if y'all was wondering where I was at, I'm back now, y'all. So today, y'all, I'm gonna be doing a reaction video. I'm gonna be reacting to teachers molesting kids, y'all. So yeah, child's being molested. Oh my God! What? So y'all gonna see some videos. Y'all gonna see a great video today.
I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
But anyways, y'all, it's gonna be a good video. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Let me set this video so y'all can see me. Oh, my phone right here, y'all. Y'all, I'm in the bathroom right now. As y'all can see, I'm in the bathroom, so I'm doing a video in the bathroom.
Alright, yo, let's go.
Alright, yo, let's go.
Let's see. Y'all, it's a lot of videos, like, damn.
Y'all, it's a lot of videos, like, damn.
This one, y'all, this one. Wait, y'all can't even hear this one. This one, y'all.
Wait, y'all can't even hear this one.
Straight failure from the system, from the school, you know, and the police. Definitely.
Only on News 5 tonight, a father's call for change after he says his son's relationship with a teacher went on for years. Our exclusive On Your Side investigation uncovered the allegations against a former Bukto High School teacher who tonight remains behind bars.
Accused of engaging in a 3-year sexual relationship with the teenager. The father says it all went on despite repeated red flags that were raised throughout. Tonight, police speak out. On Your Side, Chief Investigator Ron Regan joins us live now. And Ron, you've uncovered police reports detailing all these accusations. Well, these police reports from both Akron and Talmadge raised a lot of red flags. Still, the alleged sex continued for 3 years. They were having sex, you know, and they were. His son was a freshman at Akron's Bukto High School. 32-year-old Laura Lynn Cross allegedly began showing an interest in the 14-year-old the year before when she was his 8th grade English teacher. It was a straight failure from the system, just from the school, you know, and the police. Definitely. His father says he first grew concerned back in 2012 and spoke with a school official when his son was a freshman. Everybody I talked to, I was frank with. You know, I let them know that my son is having sexual relationships with this woman. With a teacher? Yes. With a teacher.
We had an allegation, but we had no evidence to support that allegation.
Talmadge police say they investigated, but couldn't prove it.
We tried, but we didn't have any evidence, and we had an uncooperative victim.
But 2 full years ago, the teen's mother filed this report with Akron police. It reads, she thinks it's been going on for years, adding, but she could not prove anything, despite these text messages from Cross to the teen. You couldn't love me enough to hold me, love me, comfort me.
The text messages that you're referring to were not of the nature between a mother and son. They were more of things that a jilted lover would say. However, they were not sexually explicit. They didn't confess to any acts that had occurred, and they were both questioned about these text messages, and denied
Yeah,
again.
I think for sure,
I mean, they just explained everything
the
away.
relationship
Finally,
with
the
teacher
teen's
is not
mother
the
chose
teacher's
not to
not
remove
shit
her
because
son
this
from
type of
the
shit
home
happened.
because, quote, she didn't want her son to hate her. But she did notify Summit County juvenile prosecutors and Talmadge police.
We had an unsubstantiated allegation at the time, and we did not notify Children's Services.
Y'all, next video. This is 8 minutes long, y'all, so I want y'all to watch this.
Welcome to Top 10 Archive. While in school, have you ever had it bad for one of your teachers? It's okay if you did. It's a pretty common occurrence among adolescents. When the roles are reversed, however, you get an entirely different scenario that winds up on the evening news and in this taboo archive of the 10 most shocking teacher-student affairs. Number 10, Bethany Sherrill. 24-year-old Bethany Sherrill had a pretty sweet arrangement as a teacher at Jefferson Elementary School in Farmington, Missouri. As the daughter-in-law of the school board president, who knows what hand-me-downs she could have received. The fool threw it all away, though, when she opted to engage in lewd acts with a student. Her inappropriate relationship was uncovered when the parent of another student stumbled across text messages from Sherrill that suggested inappropriate acts. While investigators were looking at this relationship, a 14-year-old student stepped forward, claiming the two had engaged in sexual acts. Sherrill resigned from her position and took a plea for first-degree sexual misconduct, forcing her to register as a sex offender and spend 90 days behind bars. Number 9, Shelley Dufresne and Rachel Respis. This dynamic duo came crumbling down when the 16-year-old they were fornicating with likely got a little cocky and told his friends of the inappropriate relationship the three were sharing. According to the lawsuit filed against Dufresne, Respis, and the St. Charles Parish public school system, Dufresne had sexual encounters with a 16-year-old student more than 40 times within a 36-day time span. Respis came into the picture amidst the affair and, knowing full well the student's age, offered her apartment as the perfect setting for a threesome between her, Dufresne, and the student. Both teachers have pleaded not guilty to charges brought against them in Jefferson Parish, where Respis' apartment is, but Dufresne did plead guilty to an earlier charge of felony obscenity in St. Charles Parish. Number 8, Sherry Jo Duncan. Tishomingo Public School Superintendent Kevin Duncan was in for a shocking surprise when, in September of 2016, his wife, an alternative education high school teacher in the district, Sherry Jo Duncan, was arrested for alleged inappropriate contact with a 14-year-old student. Text messages sent between Sherry and the student were uncovered, revealing a slew of lascivious conversations between the two. After the relationship was uncovered, the student revealed to officers their sexual encounters and chronicled several scenarios in detail, one of which involved a drive home from a movie with Duncan's daughter asleep in the car. Number 7, Virginia Houston Hinckley. Sometimes all it takes is word of mouth to sink a person. And if not for two students talking a little too loudly about her brief affair with a 16-year-old student, Virginia Hinckley may have been able to walk away unscathed. However, the 26-year-old St. Augustine High School teacher turned herself in after hearing of a warrant for her arrest in late 2015. The self-described bubbly teacher was alleged to have had sexual relations with a student in the back seat of her vehicle, though their relationship prior to the encounter was flirtatious. A week after their vehicular romp, communication between the two was said to have ceased and wasn't spoken about again until the investigation opened in October. 6. Pamela Turner. Engaging in sexual acts with an underage individual is a road with one ending. For 27-year-old Pamela Turner, that depraved road led her to exactly where she deserved. After serving a reduced sentence of 6 months in prison for engaging in intercourse with a 13-year-old student, the former teacher was faced with a 6-year prison sentence when she was caught re-engaging the youngster with nude selfies. She spent only 3 years in jail after being released in 2012 and faced additional prison time in June of 2015 for smuggling cell phones into a state prison. Far from the picture of the perfect citizen, Turner's original crime was heinous, especially as the young boy altered his life and dumped his girlfriend to spend more time with the gym teacher. Number 5, Alexandria Vera. At the start of the 2015 school year at Stovall Middle School in the Aldine Independent School District, 24-year-old Alexandria Vera was introduced to a 13-year-old boy that would forever change her life. The young student and Alexandria are said to have engaged in an inappropriate sexual relationship throughout the school year, one that left the English teacher with an unexpected surprise. In January of 2016, Alexandria became pregnant, though she opted for an abortion after her relationship with the boy went public. Throughout the investigation, Alexandria claimed that the boy's family was accepting of their relationship and the coming baby, leaving one to wonder who is the crazier party involved in this twisted tale of taboo love. For her misdeeds, Alexandria faces 25 years to life if found guilty. Number 4. Wendy A. Schweigert. The small town in Lawrence County, South Carolina, wasn't a place known for its high-profile criminal cases. So when rumors of a teacher-student affair started circulating, it took everybody, including authorities, by surprise. What seemed to make the case even worse was the age of the student that 36-year-old Wendy Schweigert of E.B. Morse Elementary School was having relations with. The unidentified 11-year-old fifth grader wasn't entirely shy about giving up his teacher and told his mother about their encounters. A year prior to her arrest, Wendy had engaged the student on 3 separate occasions, one of them during a field trip to amusement and gaming park, Frankie's Fun Park. Number 3. Leah Shipman. Sometimes love really can conquer all, and in the case of Leah Shipman, her love for then 15-year-old Johnny Eisen beat even the court system. In 2009, the 42-year-old Brunswick County Academy teacher was arrested for alleged sexual relations with a 15-year-old student. Had the investigation succeeded and the charges against her proven, Leah would have spent up to 15 years in prison. But the odd couple threw a curveball when they got married in 2011. According to North Carolina law, a husband is not required to testify against his wife, meaning the prosecutor's star witness was untouchable. As if the allegations of sexual assault of a minor weren't bad enough, at the time of their nuptials, Eisen was still a minor, meaning his parents had to give written permissions for the marriage to be legal. Number 2. Mary Kay Letourneau. It all started rather innocently, with Mary Kay befriending Billy Falau, a student she started teaching in her 2nd grade class at Shorewood Elementary School in Burien, Washington. The two were reunited in Mary Kay's 6th grade class, and it was then that their relationship became flirtatious. By the summer of 1996, the two were engaged in a sexual relationship. The teacher was arrested in March of 1997, but by that point, she was already pregnant with her first child with Falau. In 1998, after serving 6 months in jail, Mary Kay was caught with 14-year-old Falau and sent back to prison for 7.5 years. During her sentence, she birthed Falau's 2nd daughter. When she was released in 2004, the two got married and finally sealed the deal on their 9-year relationship. Number 1. Aaron McLean. Up until now, most of the parties involved in these salacious affairs came out on the other side physically unharmed. The tragic case of Aaron McLean's affair with 18-year-old Sean Powell was not as clean-cut, ending in a gunshot heard throughout Knoxville, Tennessee, and a pool of blood. After learning details of Aaron's alleged affair with a student from the high school she counseled at, Eric Powell was enraged. On March 10, 2007, Eric returned home to find Powell at their residence with his wife, grabbed a shotgun, and shot the student dead. One would think that this would end with a murder trial, but 5 months after the fatal shooting, allegations of a new affair between Aaron and a student at Pioneer Christian Academy surfaced. Of course, to this day, the now former teacher vehemently denies any additional teenager relationships beyond Powell.
That was crazy, man. That was so crazy.
That was crazy, man. That was so crazy.
I'm about to watch one more video on that shit.
I'm about to watch one video on that.
Let's watch
And we
this
start
video.
today with disturbing reports involving female teachers having illicit sex with their underage male students seem to be on the rise. and these unlikely predators have captivated DailyMail.com readers around the world. So today, we're counting down some of the most infamous teacher-student sex scandals making headlines. And here to help us is legal analyst and trial attorney Misty Marin. Misty, thank you so much for being with us. Let's start with number 5. 35-year-old Catholic school tutor Abigail Simon was found guilty of having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old student in 2013. As a criminal attorney, what do you find most disturbing about this case?
Well, this was a case of a true paper trail. There's over 1,000 text messages between the two. Also, the reason this even came to light is because the young victim's mother found a picture of the teacher in a garter belt in a very saucy photograph. So that's what sparked the investigation. But truly the most disturbing fact is that she tried to claim that he raped her. And that's what she argued in the courtroom.
Okay, well, we know the sentencing hearing was very intense, with Simon actually collapsing twice. What happened? Has she appealed?
She tried to appeal. She exhausted all of her remedies. She's still looking for ways to get out of this sentence, to maybe get it commuted or to get a sentence reduction. But she's really out of luck now that her appeals are done.
Okay, we're going to move on now to number 4. In 2004, then 24-year-old Deborah LaFave made international headlines when she was arrested for seducing a 14-year-old student. What makes Deborah LaFave's case, you think, so compelling to so many people?
This was the type of case where you could see this was a true predator. She had an ongoing relationship with this young victim. She had sex with him 3 times in 4 days. All of those facts came out at the trial, and that's why this case really sticks with you today.
Okay, moving on to number 3 now. Texas middle school teacher Alexandria Vera was sentenced in 2017 to 10 years behind bars for having sex with her 13-year-old student, getting pregnant by him, and then reportedly having an abortion. This is very, very messy. What's the mindset of a predator like Vera?
This case has such salacious facts because she was in a relationship with this young victim for a long time. She actually was pregnant by him. She was going to have the baby. She argued that his family actually supported the relationship, that they consented to the relationship. Now, Jesse, that was until investigators came a knocking, and suddenly she had an abortion. She aborted the baby, and she was on the run from the law before her trial.
Okay, as a criminal attorney, what can you tell us about Vera's plea deal?
Well, she was about to face life in prison, so she really had to plead this down. The reason that the prosecution even spoke to her about a plea deal, because they really had her, was this issue with the parents of the young victim, that they maybe consented to the relationship. So that was going to complicate the trial. So in the end, she pled this down and served much less time than she was facing.
Okay, I want to move on now to Pamela Smart, the high school counselor who infamously convinced her 15-year-old lover, Billy Flynn, and his friends to carry out a plot to murder her husband, Greg, back in 1990. Lots of people went crazy over this story. Why is it so captivating?
Nobody can forget this case. First of all, think about it. It's 1990. This is one of the first cases covered gavel to gavel. Jesse, you had people outside asking for tickets to sit in the courtroom. I mean, people were treating this like their favorite soap opera. But in this case, this is a conspiracy to commit murder case, as well as a case of her having a sexual relationship with somebody underage. So this case has all the elements of just a completely salacious situation.
Whatever happened to Pamela Smart? Have we heard the last from her?
Well, we've not heard the last from her. She's still saying, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. She has people that she wants to rally around her. She's exhausted all of her appeals. But interestingly enough, the shooter is now out on probation after 25 years behind bars. She's trying to use that to leverage a sentence reduction, and she's looking to do that now. Although, I have a feeling you're not going to see a change in her sentence.
Okay, we're finally here. We're at number 1. Mary Kay Latorno, the married mom of 4, who shocked the world by having a scandalous affair with her 12-year-old student, Billy Falau. Misty, what makes Mary Kay and Billy's story, you think, so extraordinary?
Well, we just went through a bunch of stories where you hear about people that are serving their time. This case is a little different. So in this case, this was an affair between a 36-year-old woman and a young kid, 12 years old, and she was actually pregnant when she was arrested. She got a very short sentence, but guess what? After she was released, she was caught again for having sexual relationship with him. So there, she was sent back to jail. She served
I'm gonna watch this one more video next week.
What? Spill the tea? I think I've probably done it this time.
Let's just go fast, y'all, because I don't want to hold y'all. See what they got in this video.
You helped me be me.
Yeah, this part.
Don't go.
shit for real.
I was thinking about what you said. About sex needing a connection. I felt it. I felt a connection.
You felt like you could fuck.
I said it.
I'm gonna drop you here.
It's like a 10-minute walk.
You've got to be careful, Corey. So careful. No one can know. We don't want to do this again, don't we?
Okay.
I know you do. Same time, same place tomorrow, okay? Save it for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it, y'all. So, what I had to say about this video is crazy, y'all. It's like a regular basis. Teachers always having sex with students, and it's like on a regular basis, y'all. I don't know how people do this shit, but it's real. It's real life shit. Like, it's crazy to me, and I will never do it because I don't want to wind up in jail, or the teacher's gonna wind up in jail because of me. I will never do it, y'all. Those are the two reasons why I would not have sex with a teacher. They could be bad as fuck, but I would not do it, y'all. I don't care her not being in jail because of her, and she not being in jail because of me. It would not happen, y'all. But that's all I gotta say, y'all. Anyways, if y'all like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a like for me. Subscribe, comment, share, turn on post notifications so you don't miss every time I post a video. I'm JJ with no lane, I'm out. See y'all in the next video.